All right. So we're looking at the substitution axiom. It's like a theorem. It's something that is taken to be true in math. Y'all know theories in science? The same concept, but in math. Yeah, they've proven theorems or theories. They're called theorems in math. So changing the numeral by which a number is named in an expression does not change the value of the expression. For any numbers a and b, if a equals b, then you can exchange a and b in that problem. They can be substituted in for each other. If a equals b, then a may replace b, or b can replace a. And it doesn't change the truth or falsity of the statement. Basically. But we have to be very specific. But yeah, they're basically all saying the same thing. If x equals t and x equals 2, t equals what? 2. They equal the same thing, and if one of them is 2, then the other one is 2. Does that make sense? Okay. This is the type of problem they're going to be wanting you to use substitution for right now. They want you to use substitution. So if it says use substitution, use substitution. Don't do it a different way. No, not yet. We'll learn elimination soon. Oh, elimination is good. For this one, what are we going to do? Okay, instead of 3x, what am I going to do? 3 times what? Does that make sense? Then what? Okay. Do you agree? Okay, are we done? Okay. So what would you get, Destiny? Do you agree with that? Okay. Whenever it's an xy point like this, You want your answer to be written as 3, comma, -2. And let that be your answer. Did y'all do that last year when you wrote your answers? Okay. Sometimes? Okay. Okay. That's how they want your answer in a ordered pair. An ordered pair. Does that make sense? Okay. What's different about this example? Which one is it going to make more sense to solve for? And on which equation? Y, the top Y. It already has a coefficient of 1 or -1, right? Okay, so see if you can solve it and then plug it into the equation and solve for x. Okay, does someone want to go show what their y would equal? No, just show what y, like, y would equal what? What would you be substituting in? Do you agree there? You would get that, but that's -y, and you have to get rid of the negative. So -11, +3x. Does that make sense? Okay? You didn't have to do it that way. You could have moved your y over to the right side. Someone want to go show how to plug it in? Yeah, go ahead. Like, yeah, okay. Go to the next step. After you have y, what are you going to do next? You're going to plug it in? It's right here. Yeah. You can go further. Do you agree x equals 2? Did you get 44 from a negative 11 plus 33? You see that on your work? It's a negative 11 from here. It should be, no, it should be positive 2. Yeah, it should be positive 2. Yeah, I didn't see the negative on yours. It should be positive 2. Any questions on how to get the 2? Sure. Or the y? Do you agree? Now do you agree that that's the answer? Do you see how that works? Any questions on these? Okay. See if you can do this one by yourself. How many solved for x? How many solved for y? Does it matter which one you do on this one? Just pick one, whichever you want. How many agree? Any questions on this one? None? Okay. Looking at area of isosceles triangles. To find the area, you have to find your altitude to the base. You're going to have to draw in the altitude that goes to the base. We'll go over it. I'll show you. It's not too difficult. After you draw your altitude, you'll find your area. The way that you find your altitude, you draw it from the vertex to the midpoint of the base. Is this an isosceles triangle? Okay. Which one is my base? The 5. The way that you draw your altitude, it's from the base, the midpoint of the base, to the opposite vertex. Which vertex is opposite of this base? The one up at the top. Does that make sense? What is now the length of this segment right here? And what is the segment over here? Do y'all see how that works? Yeah, we're going to find the area. Just a second. Any questions so far? Yes, that's a 5. My 5s don't look very pretty. That's what he was doing. Scott was like just looking at me. Or just staring off into space, one of the two. All right, you're going to use your Pythagorean theorem to calculate the height, the altitude. Let me go back real quick. I would say 2.5 squared plus what? Nope, plus what? 2.5 squared plus the height squared, and that would equal what? 4 squared. Does that make sense? 2.5 squared plus whatever the height is equals 4 squared. And that's your altitude. Yes. Does that make sense? That'll be the height. Because we're going to look for the area. But first we have to know the base and the height. After you find your altitude, you're going to use your formula, area equals 1/2 base times height. And that'll give you the area of your triangle. That's what we're going to do. But they're not going to give you the height. You have to find the height. Because they've got to make it where you learn something new. You don't know what you're going to do for your career. You really don't know what you're going to be doing. Okay, if you want to be a doctor or a neurologist, you're definitely going to need to know how to use math skills. But you have to use the skills that you learn from finding area, etc., to be able to do what you're going to do. If you can't do any of this, you're not going to be able to be a doctor. It's just not going to happen. All right, so we want to find the area of the triangle. Well, what's the formula for the area? Do we know our base? It's 4. What is the height? Okay, so how are we going to figure out how to find the height? Make a new triangle. So this is 2, and that's the height. Sarah, you paying attention? Sarah, you paying attention? Y'all see how that works? You can leave it like that, or you can do it as a decimal. Mhm. Do y'all see how to find the height? Okay. They might. What base are we going to use? Why 4 and not 2? Okay. We got to use the whole base. So 1/2 of 4 is what? Do you agree? You could leave it as 2 squared to 21. Could you also say square root of 21 is 4 point something times 4 divided by 2? You could find the square root of 21 and then multiply by 4 and then divide that by 2. Would that work too? If you wanted to actually find out what the decimal number would be? Does it really matter which way you do it? Okay. All right. See if you can use substitution to solve for x and y. Sarah. You didn't get that? And so x would have to be what? Yeah. Do y'all see how that works? Any questions on these? If you don't like substitution, practice doing it. We will get to elimination soon. Okay? All right. Last one. See if you can find the area of this triangle. Any questions on finding the height? If you had taken the square root of 5, you should get like 2 point something. 2.2 maybe. I don't really know. All right, so area. 1/2. What's our base? And what's our height? 1/2 of 4? Do what? Yeah. Or you can say 2 times the square root of 5 to get a number. Any questions on these?